Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Out on That Line. I am Alex. Geoff is off this week, but filling in, we have a legend, a friend, a guest, a brother of the show, one of the original showbiz kids. He came to sit down and have another conversation with me today, and that man who really needs no introduction but got a long one anyway, Mr. Tanner.
Oh, thank you. What an introduction. I was going to say, Geoff's just like got unlimited vacation time at this at your company here, at your business? What is this?
Apparently, you get 1 day of vacation per couch.
Oh, then he's going to have a lot of vacation days, or so I hear.
Or a lot of couches.
Yeah. But I'm back, and I'm ready to discuss another band that is very near and dear to both of our hearts.
And we were talking about this before we started rolling. One of the things that I think we've realized we do very successfully in this format, when you and I get together and have these conversations, is just us kind of geeking out about things that we love. You know what I mean? We're not really looking at an album. We're just looking at, like, we can talk off the cuff about Elvis Costello enthusiastically and knowledgeably.
Yes.
And this is another band that I think qualifies as that. Big time geek out, deep dive thing for you and me. You want to tell them who it is?
The band is Steely Dan.
Any world that I'm welcome to, I say. Any world that I'm welcome to. Any world that I'm welcome to is better than the one I come from.
Where to start?
So, I mean, the real big push, I think, in our lives of listening to this music came, on the heels of watching that YouTube series called Yacht Rock.
Mm-hmm.
The brilliant, amazing, and it's seemingly, it's secondhand reference in our friend group. We do the bits all the time still. That was many, many years ago. And through watching that web series, the music was featured in a lot of it, but also, kind of the funny lore kind of led you to checking out the music, When I was younger, my mom had a cassette, and the first side was Can't Buy a Thrill, and the back side was Countdown to Ecstasy.
Ooh.
And we would drive out to Shadow Lake to our friend's camp out there. It was like the perfect timing. Like, it took you Can't Buy a Thrill out and Countdown back.
That's awesome.
So I have like deep, like those two albums are just ingrained on me, right, wrong, or indifferent in terms of like how you rank them wherever, as we go into that conversation. But those two are like, I've listened to every Steely Dan album a lot. And those two, just by default, still tower over the other albums in terms of how many times I've listened to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's, I have a lot of Elvis Costello that operates that same way. Mm-hmm. It's imprinted on a place and time. And I love when stuff does that. You can return to it endlessly and get something more out of it every time. That really is Steely Dan because of, like, how perfect their music is.
Mm-hmm. And
how long it takes to just, like, parse through every guitar solo. We've been listening to it for years, and every time we go back, there's always inevitably that moment where one of us busts out in a huge smile and looks over at the other only to realize he's doing it too. And those are the moments.
Yeah.
That's Steely Dan to me.
Yeah, it's, it's essentially, it was the two guys, Donald and Walter, Donald Fagen, Walter Becker. And kind of a revolving cast of characters, studio musicians, other musicians, people that weren't just studio musicians, people that were famous enough from other bands and everything. But like they're, the two constants and the writers and everything. And it can go, the range musically that they cover, like they can go like deep jazz, and slow things down. But they can also play an absolute ripper, like it's just like they cover such a musical ground, I would say.
Yeah, I would. This is the interesting part of their sound. A lot of people throw out the term dad rock.
Mm-hmm.
I, first of all, kind of reject the notion that it's rock. It's a similar thing to Frank Zappa, where Steely Dan, they were composers. They weren't rock stars. Frank Zappa was a composer. He wasn't a rock star.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I mean, these songs rock. There are absolutely songs that rock. I'm thinking of Don't Take Me Alive right now. Just like the
Yep.
way that it rips in.
Yeah. Think
That
about
rocks.
a Bodhisattva.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
it's like they possess the power to rip.
FM is a rock song that is, it's either a smooth rock song or a rockin' smooth song.
It's so smooth, that song.
So Steely Dan contains multitudes. So to distill them down to dad rock, I'm not sure I understand where people are getting that.
Wikipedia lists them as an American rock band. Done.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
That seems so broad it could have been a building to me, but
Rolling Stone called them the perfect musical anti-heroes of the 70s.
I like that.
Okay, here we go. Genres. Jazz rock, soft rock, pop rock, jazz fusion are the other genres. That's all A-okay by me. Yeah, that's a pretty good...
That all checks out.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary there.
But that's the same thing. It's the Michael McDonald trap.
Mm-hmm.
We watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which is a formative comedy movie
Yes.
experience for us. And that movie tells you Michael McDonald sucks.
Makes you... Yeah, and I hated him.
Oh, yeah.
I hated him. I hated it.
I didn't know why I hated Michael McDonald, but I'm like, Paul Rudd. I have it on good authority that Michael McDonald sucks because of Paul Rudd. So
When I was out in Denver covering when Barack Obama got the Democratic nomination for university media at the school that I was at, the line to get into the stadium was so long. It took us like 5-6 hours to get in because security was so tight and everything. We finally get to our seats as I think like Al Gore maybe is finishing like his speech.
damn.
We sit down and they go, now for America the Beautiful, Mr. Michael McDonald.
Oh.
And I, at the time, who hated him, I was like, oh, fuck. But now I look back on it and I'm like, damn, like, I love Michael McDonald now.
Right.
And there were like 125,000 people there. You get to play to a huge crowd. I'm talking about.
And you're just out there like, fuck this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Oh, and it was grinding my teeth. We finally get to our seats and this fucking asshole comes out to me 6 years later being like, Mom, you have this many Doobie Brothers records? Oh my God.
What else have you been keeping from me?
Yeah.
And that was one of the strengths to me of the web series of Yacht Rock is they made all those characters so endearing, none more so than Michael McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
J.D. Riznar as Michael McDonald is so damn charismatic and droll. And you see that paired with the music of Michael McDonald, the singing of Michael McDonald, where he's just like doing the lip sync and touching his ear like he's got an earpiece in.
Yeah.
Dude, when they pretend they have headphones on when they don't, it's the best thing. It's little stuff like that you like. You kind of create a Michael McDonald, so then you go look into Michael McDonald, and you find out you love all of his music, and he's an incredibly badass singer.
And Michael McDonald, obviously, heavily connected with Steely Dan directly, you know, on many tunes, singing great backup vocals.
Most notably Peg.
Peg.
That's where you really hear him the most.
And like we were doing in the bit earlier, Any World That I'm Welcome To.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Props to Michael McDonald.
Yeah, a little.
In all of this. But yeah, so I mean the other thing that Steely Dan was really known for, right, was like the studio perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else that we kind of learned from that Yacht Rock series. They really embellished that. You know, and it's obviously very funny, but you know, that they were, you know, studio perfectionists. They didn't like really playing live back in the 70s because they couldn't really recreate studio setting. Now, you know, once they got back together, I want to say in like the 90s, they kind of figured it out. But there are so many people that filtered through, and I just really enjoy the aspect of I recently watched like a little documentary on, I think, Amazon Prime, where they were talking about the guitar solo on Peg, I think. And like I have all the people that like showed up and auditioned, and they didn't tell anybody whose they were going to use. They had to wait. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, tidbit I did not know.
And it was Jay Graydon. I do believe that was the one that laid it down.
Oh, man. And like the all the iconic solos that come out of Steely Dan, because this was really the first instance of us getting into Cory Wong, Wolfpack, and through Yacht Rock, who these guys really were was musicians. Steely Dan musicians. Then we get into Frank Zappa, who works with musicians. All these guys are crossing over.
Oh yeah.
Anytime anyone mentions Vinny Colaiuta, we pop.
Yeah, big time pop.
The Porcaros. Like this is when we got into like individual musicians instead of just like no shade on Fountains of Wayne. I'm just literally staring at a poster of them right now.
Don't out me as a Fountains of Wayne fan on the podcast just because I have it hanging in my living room.
Hey, I'm with you, buddy. You're
yeah,
not alone.
Yeah, JK.
But like I always tended to think of like, okay, Fountains of Wayne is an entity. It's like a faceless entity. And that's no shade on them. That's just like the way I looked at music for a while if you weren't an individual. You know, like Prince had a persona, and I could see that. And then Fountains of Wayne was multiple people, and I'm like, they just is Fountain of Wayne.
Collectively.
But this is kind of where we started taking, or I anyway, I don't want to speak for you, like started taking an interest in these musicians who weren't like the headlining name. You know what I mean? Like Bernard Purdie was a drummer.
Having a sick-ass band. You know what I mean? Having a sick-ass band of hired assassins at their instruments and seeing what you can do in the recording studio with seemingly limitless time. You know what I mean? Think about the album Asia.
I love to.
It is so good. But like, just think about the amount of time that must have gone into the writing of it, but the production, the recording process. We have 37 different horn lines recorded, Don. We got to pick one, and they're just fucking going through and listening. It's very interesting to me.
That kind of musical aptitude, yeah. That thing that I just don't have. You know what I mean? I can sing. I don't have that kind of musical aptitude to put something together like that.
Well, and back in this day, it was much more like, it was even harder too than I would say now, you know, with like the technology and everything like that. You know what I mean? Recording technology versus then, you know, you had to go to a studio to be able to record stuff. So I don't know where I was really going with that thought. But they just, if you listen from their first album to their last album, the sound is like on two total opposite poles.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the albums in between don't necessarily like put you there in any particularly straight line. You know what I mean? Like it's, some albums are heavy like jazz influenced. Some albums are heavily California West Coast influenced.
Big time.
You have The Royal Scam, which is my favorite Steely Dan album. What's that even? You know what I mean? Like there's no like, it's very horn heavy.
Yeah.
But there's no like true, you know, it's because Asia's like the masterpiece one. And Gaucho's like the Cali one.
Yeah.
Pretzel Logic is the one that everyone overlooks.
Fair.
You have the debut and the follow-up. And then you have Katy Lied, the one that they hate. Steely Dan fucking hate Katy Lied.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I've been all over the place on Katy Lied in my Steely Dan career. You know? I've bounced between those poles. Love it, hate it. It's growing on me. It's wearing on me.
I love Bad Sneakers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And Everyone's Gone to the Movies.
Oh my God, I love that song. Everyone's gone to the movies.
Friend of the pod, Griffin, and I used to listen to that at work all the time.
Dude, that's a mellow island. That's a hot island song to melt your icy heart.
And Daddy Don't Live in New York City No More.
Also, yep.
But yeah, no, I dig on Katy Lied a lot. I hang in the back. When it comes to Katy Lied, I don't show my hand too much.
The jazzy moments on that are like super pronounced. Throw out your gold teeth and see, like the drumming on that.
To me, I don't understand why they hate it so much, and maybe that's why I'm like so fascinated with it, because to me, it fits right, like it fits in.
What did they think it was too all over the place? Maybe
there's something to do with like the recording of it they didn't like. Maybe part of it was recorded digitally. I'm not sure, but they do not like that album.
Interesting. It's like Elvis Costello and Goodbye Cruel World.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Weird.
It's the exact same thing.
Congratulations, you bought my worst album.
The balls on this guy. Just put that on his own record, too.
In the fucking liner
I have
notes.
to turn this into a Costello pod, which we easily could do.
That's very true. Earmark that one for another day. Next time Geoff goes on vacation. Steely Dan, I think, friend of the pod Andy described them as an aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best way I've ever kind of heard them, that like the best distillation of what Steely Dan was.
Yeah, it's like a mood. It's a feeling.
It's just that's what kind of bugs me about people that just chalk it up, because I guarantee those people haven't sat down and devoted any time to listening to a Steely Dan song.
Well, I was just gonna posit this: Steely Dan like doesn't work as background music.
No, not at all.
Steely Dan demands attention. It demands attention to detail. They put in all this work. It demands, headphone listening or quiet listening. It's not something that you put on while you're flipping burgers in the yard, unless it's us and all of us are out there singing them. Which obviously that's when you do it.
We're more focused
We're all
on the
listening.
music than the burgers at that point.
Correct. Yeah, but it's not background music. It's front and center.
And it's muscle memory for us. We are activated when that shit comes on.
Oh yeah.
And that's the go-to. If we're ever like, oh, you want to listen to some music, but we don't really kind of know what we're both feeling, inevitably one of us just rolls Steely Dan.
Yeah, toss some Steely Dan on, man. So speaking of toss some Steely Dan on,
Okay.
we were talking about doing some little fun games earlier. Do you want to do one of those? A Steely Dan game?
Let's do one of your Steely Dan games.
So the non-PC version of this game is called MFK. I don't know what we want to call it for this show.
You can say whatever you want.
So I'm going to give you 3 albums, and you got to marry one. You have to consensually have sensuals with one, and you have to murder the other one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I am going to say Gaucho,
Okay.
Pretzel Logic,
Okay.
and Countdown to Ecstasy. I'm
Interesting.
hitting you with some little side ones.
Interesting. Gaucho. Fuck.
Okay.
Because that album fucks. That album is sensual. It's sex.
Yeah.
It's as curvy as the impressionist painting of the lady that's on the cover. That is a seductive album. That is an album that you can take home at 2 a.m. and just get loose together. You know what I'm saying?
It won the Grammy Award in '82 for Best Engineered Non-Classical Recording. And it was also nominated for Album of the Year.
Well, with good reason, because that album is fucking landmark Steely Dan. Because that's the thing is to make the kind of music that's on that album, you just have to be feeling it. It feels like some of their most off the cuff stuff because we know they're perfectionists. We know they worked on it obsessively, but it's the album I think that feels the breeziest while maintaining that level of quality. They're just a hot album. That's another hot island album to cool your icy heart.
It took them over a year in the studio to record it, and they used at least 42 different musicians.
Holy shit, dude. I mean, you got to appreciate that attention to detail and making something that feels as effortless as Gaucho. So Gaucho is my fuck. I would marry Countdown to Ecstasy because that is a reliable album that you can return to anytime and get your money's worth. That is a solid, if you want to call it not as exciting as some of the other projects that came out and some of the stuff isn't as conceptual, that's fine. But as a jumping off point for what Steely Dan was going to turn into, that is an album you can return to every night.
Bodhisattva, Razor Boy, Boston Rag, Gold Teeth. Side 1. Side 2, Showbiz Kids, My Old School, Pearl of the Quarter, King of the World.
I mean,
there's no fat there.
No. The whole thing
There's no
just
filler.
mushes.
Pearl of the Quarter, I find is incredibly underrated song.
And I'm not crazy about Boston Rag, if I'm being totally honest. I'm not super crazy about it. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of what I'm talking about, which is just like, as friend of the show, Matt Reno would say, this album is rock solid.
Yeah, it's rock solid.
You can build a foundation with that. So that is why Countdown to Ecstasy is my Mary, which leaves us with the oft-maligned Pretzel Logic,
No.
which unfortunately I have to kill just by dint of I had a stronger argument for the other two things.
Pretzel Logic.
Hit me with the Pretzel Logic track listing.
It's the last one that has Skunk, Denny Diaz, and Jim Hodder, the drummer. So this is like end of phase 1 Dan.
Okay. The Infinity Saga Dan.
Yeah. Side 1, Ricky, Don't Lose That Number. Night by Night. Any Major Dude Will Tell You. Barry Town. East St. Louis Toodaloo, which is the Duke Ellington cover they do. That's just the instrumental. Then we go side 2, Parker's Band. Through with Buzz. Pretzel Logic. With a Gun. Charlie Freak. Monkey in Your Soul.
The back half is what really kind of, to me, doesn't stick together for me.
All these songs are super short, too, in terms of like Steely Dan
Yeah.
track length. Parker's Band is 2 minutes and 36 seconds. Through with Buzz is 90 seconds long. He basically says Through with Buzz 5 times and it's over. Pretzel Logic is 4.5 minutes long. With a Gun is 2:15. Charlie Freak is 2:41. And Monkey in Your Soul is 2:31.
It's this weird, it's almost like a suite, you know what I mean? Just the way that these little cliplets roll into each other. It's weird. It's a weird album. And like weird is good. But it's just there's something about the back half of all that stuff you just named that like can't get its hooks in me the way that everything off of Asia does.
Well, yes. Yeah. Oh,
really
yeah.
glad you didn't put Asia, Gaucho, and Ecstasy in
I'm
the
not a
same thing.
madman, sir. I just wanted to take a little cross section. A little swipe.
No, that's good. So I'm going to sling it back to you.
All right.
Place your bets. Place your bets.
I am rubber, you are glue.
Okay. Can't Buy a Thrill.
Fuck.
The Royal Scam.
Oh, you're a bad man.
And Asia. Let's just
You're
do it.
awful. I can't believe you're doing this to me.
Because mine, you set me right up. I'm like, oh, this is easy.
I'm like feeling physical pain right now.
Are you feeling sick?
No shade to Can't Buy a Thrill. And like I said, it is the heartbeat of my Steely Dan fandom. That being said, I'm going to have to dig a shallow grave and toss it in there. The real dilemma is between the two heavy hitters. And again, Can't Buy a Thrill, any other kind of matchup scenario probably would be in the fuck range. See, you're going to think that I want to marry the Royal Scam.
That's kind of where I'm leaning, yeah.
But I think I got to marry Asia.
Okay.
I think I have to marry Asia. Just due to the fact that I think Royal Scam is probably my favorite album, but I think Asia is their best album.
Oh,
like, just like definitively like this is it. And there's nothing wrong with marrying the best.
it's true. In fact, it's something we should all strive for.
Yeah, so I'm going to fuck the Royal Scam, and it's going to be great. I'm going to get to hear Caves of Altamira one last time before I walk down the aisle to home at last.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine taking like an 11-minute walk down the aisle? It's like the Undertaker's
They're playing the
entrance.
whole thing. I do not fade it out.
We talk a lot about like the perfect album. Asia to me is a perfect album.
Yes. Yeah.
Like start top to bottom. My sister, who doesn't give two fucks about anything that isn't John Mayer or Machine Gun Kelly, God help us all. She doesn't give a fuck. She listened to Asia and liked it and recognizes cuts off of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like objectively amazing. Like, it's not like you don't have to be a Steely Dan fan to get Asia. You know what I mean? You kind of do to get to, the bits that we do, the parts that we like. You got to be, like a Steely Dan fan, but like a casual person again, hearing Asia, like the gut-busting drums on that song. Steve Gadd, bad man.
Fucking bad.
But yeah, I would marry Asia.
Makes all the sense in the world. I guess it wasn't so tough after all.
It was tough. It was tough for the first 50. It was really painful because I could easily marry Royal Scam, but I've listened to that one third most probably.
But Royal Scam's kind of dirty, you know.
Yeah,
Royal
yeah.
Scam's a little spooky.
It's spooky, and actually, it's funny you bring that up. When I was younger, we had a piano in the house, and my mom would play it on occasion, and she had some books of songs. She had some Simon and Garfunkel. She had some Jimmy Buffett.
Oh, boy.
And she had Royal Scam.
Nice.
So the visual of that album artwork is ingrained similarly to Can't Buy a Thrill and things like that. I just didn't know what it sounded like because we didn't have it.
Dude, that's one of the things about imprinting on an album cover like that when you're younger, like Bad Outta Hell. The cover of the first Bad Outta Hell when I was a kid, I'm like, oh my God.
yeah.
This is terrifying. And then my dad played the music. I'm like, this is terrifying. But it's amazing. I can't look away. But just the mythos that comes out of seeing that album artwork, and then finally it culminates in you listening to it and realizing that you're in love with the album.
Because I'd heard Kid Charlemagne before. They use it in Yacht Rock, obviously. And I think I was living on South Main Street at the time, in the old Boulding residence. And I put Royal Scam on when I was getting ready for work, on a Bluetooth speaker. And I knew Kid Charlemagne, and then Caves of Altamira started. And I was like, turn off the shower. What? What is this? That's something that I would... Let me ask you this. I would say that Caves of Altamira is my number one all-time Steely Dan favorite song.
I'm that cop-out guy, man. I really don't operate in favorites. I have multiple favorites, you know what I mean?
You contain multitudes.
I have a stable, if you will.
Give me yeah, I don't know. So then I did a bracket. I saw it on Reddit. There was a Steely Dan bracket that you could do. So you had to do it how this person had kind of laid out the bracket. So there's kind of some chance to what songs go head to head. Some go head to head early. Some go head to head late. My championship match was Brooklyn Owns the Charmer Under Me off of Can't Buy a Thrill and Caves of Altamira.
What one?
Caves.
Yeah?
It's Caves.
You give it to Caves?
Caves all the way.
Hell yeah. See, and that's the thing is I wish I felt that sure about any one of them. I just it really is just top contenders for love.
Well,
Old standbys.
Then let's go in the opposite direction. And I'm going to read you track listing off of an album, and you're going to have to delete one song.
Brutal.
Off of the album. And the album, my friend, is Asia.
All right. We're starting with the gut bucket, huh?
Yeah. Do you would you like me to read them all off in order?
Yeah, make sure I don't miss anything.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it goes Black Cow, Asia, Deacon Blues. Side 2 is Peg, Home at Last, I Got the News, and Josie.
I think I knew I've Got the News.
I Got the News.
Yeah, I think that's... Everything else is a must-keep. And that is one I dare say I even tune out a little bit for, not due to the quality. It's just what they came up with in that. It's perfect in the context of a perfect album. It's just if you have to nuke one, it's like Silk Sonic. I had to nuke one. 777 was that one. I'll put 777 up against any other Jamokes best song.
Right. But
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the exercise is
you got to nuke one.
It's interesting. I Got the News features Michael McDonald on backing vocals.
I know.
I did not realize that Walter Becker played the guitar solo on Home at Last either. I always thought that was Larry Carlton.
Interesting.
So you slice off Asia. Now give me
Yep.
something to slice.
Do you want to slice one off Asia too?
No. I can slice one off Asia.
I
or
kind of
can
think it's
slice-
interesting to hear what we each do with it. You know?
What if we do this? What we're calling this on the fly here, folks. What if we do this? Since I proposed Asia, you get to make the first cut. Now I can't say I got the news. I have to cut something else.
Ooh.
And then you pick the
Ooh.
next one, and I get the first shot at it, and you have to cut after my cut.
Oh, that's gruesome. That's a gruesome snake draft. Yeah, good luck.
By no fault of their own, it comes down to Peg and Josie.
Okay.
And I just think that I cannot cut Peg off of Asia. I think it's got too much going for it. If we're doing a category, let's say on a score of like out of 25, Peg's got like 22 things going for it, and Josie's got like 20 things going for it. It's just a little bit behind. Obviously, it has the great Michael McDonald harmonies on it, but it just chugs along. And it's that J grade and guitar solo, baby.
Yeah. I wholly agree. You gotta. I love Josie. That is the name of my sister's cat, which is how I got her to listen to the album.
Nice.
Because I put on Josie, and she was like, "Oh my God, is this a song called Josie?" I was like, "How perceptive of you!" But it got her to listen to the album, and she loves that song, and I'm like, "That's a Steely Dan song that my sister and I can love together." So I'm perhaps more emotionally imprinted on Josie, but pure cold logic, I gotta go with Peg. I would have to keep Peg, protect Peg.
You gotta
At all
protect. You gotta
costs.
protect the Peg.
Protect the Peg.
And "Home at Last" used to not be like one of my absolute favorite Steely Dan songs, and it took seeing Phantom Airwave play it to reinstill it in my heart, because that is a fucking great song.
It's amazing.
It is such a good song.
It sails along on glass.
Mhm.
It's just like smooth.
It's like the closest precursor you get to Gaucho.
Yeah.
It's almost being like, hey, we can do this direction too,
Yeah.
and we're going in this direction, because we always talked about Gaucho being like the perfect boat album.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
And this is a
yes.
song about boat.
So I guess let's stick with Gaucho. What do you cut off Gaucho?
Oh, you're a bad man.
Oh, want me to read you the track listing?
I got it right here. Let's see. So we got Babylon Sisters, Hey 19, Glamour Profession, Gaucho, Time Out of Mind, My Rival, Third World Man. So, it's easy for me to whittle it down to two.
I think I know what you're going to say.
It's the last two.
I'm with you there.
Now, of the last two, I mean, just because Babylon Sisters and Hey 19 are like S tier Steely Dan songs, Glamour Profession is a personal favorite of mine, and we have a great bit around that song. Gaucho is great. Time Out of Mind is an iconic one because of how we got introduced to it through the Yacht Rock show. So it just whittles down to these two.
Yep.
And I fucking dig My Rival quite a bit. So I'm sorry, Third World Man. It's not your fault, but you got to go.
You got to go. And I, by default, have to cut My Rival.
Yeah, which
Because
is
it would be between those two.
Yeah. And it's a bummer, That's got to go. But you just look at the quality of these other songs, And that's the other thing, is we're talking about albums with 7, 6, 8 songs. It's
Yeah.
hard to cut 2 tracks off an 8-track album. Come on, people, have some sympathy for us.
Yeah, like pieces of shit.
Uh,
What a lean album. 37 minutes and 50 seconds.
yeah, and that's very similar. Asia's 39:51.
And they feel so expansive. They feel like they go on forever. And that's not like they drag on forever. It's just they explore the space.
And Asia's only 7 songs, so it's another low number. All right, let's do one more. And I'm going to hit you with The Royal Scam.
The Royal Scam.
So For those of you keeping track at home, this one has a lot more tracks. This one has 9, everyone.
Yeah.
Kid Charlemagne, Caves of Altamira, Don't Take Me Alive, Sign and Stranger, The Fez, Side 2, Green Earrings, Haitian Divorce, Everything You Did, and The Royal Scam.
Boy. Obviously, you don't touch Kid Charlemagne. You don't touch the Caves of Altamira. You don't touch Don't Take Me
Nope.
Alive. That opening 3-song streak,
Woo.
if that don't get your bunghole wet, I don't know what will.
Slop him up.
You're keep it crazy, son. Sign in Stranger.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Piano part on that song is fantastic.
Oh yeah. Haitian Divorce is a weird one. It was one I got into for a really long time, and then started to like actively dislike, and then I swung back around. I think I just overdosed, because I'm like the it's just like too annoying, and this song just feels goofy. And then you realize like it is kind of a goofy narrative, but you know, it's I also in many ways say like think of that song in particular is of them kind of embracing that storytelling aspect even more, like specific stories. Also like the bank robbery and Don't Take Me Alive, like getting really into it. So by the time you get to Gaucho and Glamour Profession, where the lyrics are literally like "Meet me at midnight at Mr. Chow's," like,
yeah.
it's this whole very specific thing. We'll make some calls from my car, that kind of thing. So it's kind of like that song on that level has a place in my heart. I'm stalling for time, hoping that someone will shoot you in the head, so I don't have to kill the Fez, because I think the Fez is the one I'd cut.
That's fine with me. Now all you've done is taken the one that I would have cut, so now I'm in trouble.
Oh no.
Yeah, Fez is fine.
Yeah,
It's kind of repetitive.
it's very repetitive. Yep, I agree. But you can't
I don't like this.
pick it,
I don't like this.
sir. I'm also looking at the others and thinking if it's worth doing one more after this.
Yeah. One more. Complete the cycle. That would give us 4.
It's true.
Okay. It's between Everything You Did and The Royal Scam. And The Royal Scam, it might be sacrilegious to cut the title track off the album, because then what would it be called? There's just something in me. Many years ago, when we used to use services such as Kazaa and LimeWire and things of that nature, I wanted to download some Steely Dan songs, the ones off of Can't Buy a Thrill and the ones I mean, this is 13 years old, 12 years old, so 2002-ish. And I accidentally downloaded the song The Royal Scam, totally out of context. It's on my iPod.
Interesting.
One day it came on, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This fucking sucks. This sucks. This is Steely Dan. Fuck this shit. Like, bad.
Set you back 5 years.
So there's still a little bit of that ill will there.
Mm-hmm.
Couple that with the bits upon bits inside of Everything You Did.
It's true.
I'm sorry, Royal Scam. We're going to have to find a new song to name this album after.
Just call it the Fez.
No!
Oh, man. Think of how tight that album would be if we cut the Fez and the Royal Scam.
And I mean, I'm cool with keeping the Royal Scam. I'm definitely cool with cutting the Fez.
Sure, yeah.
If you cut the Fez, you just put Green Earrings up there. There's 5, and there'll only be
It's a pretty
3.
good...
There'll only be 3 songs on side B.
Yeah.
So you just cut the Fez and go 4-4. An even 4-4 split.
Even 4-4. Well, I found one that I think is harder than either of us may realize.
Mm-hmm.
Countdown to Ecstasy.
You've done it.
You've got them in front of you?
Yep.
Would you like to read them for the audience at home?
Yeah, it's Bodhisattva, Razor Boy, Boston Rag, Your Gold Teeth, Showbiz Kids, My Old School, Pearl of the Quarter, King of the World.
What do you do with that? What do you do with that, sir?
I obviously Untouchables pretty much fuck.
Yes. Yes.
Because like the more you listen to these songs, like King of the World is a great fucking song. A friend of the pod, Andy, and I've talked about that song a bunch, and like it's a really fucking good song.
Turn up the Eagles, the neighbors are listening.
Okay, I was just saying how much I love Pearl of the Quarter earlier.
Correct.
But it's going to go down in the final two here. It's going to go to the final two for me.
Wow, okay.
Because I can't consider cutting anything else. Showbiz Kids, absolutely formative song for me.
Yep.
My Old School, S tier Steely Dan song.
Yes, yep.
I would say that personally, My Old School is the best song on this album.
I think we may have also found my favorite Steely Dan song. I might be willing to lay my nuts on the table for My Old School.
Really?
Yep. Love it.
Yep.
Love it. Activated every time it's on.
Yep. There's that great cover, that YouTube channel that we love, Leonid and Friends, giving them the free plug here.
Yeah.
They're absolutely talented, tremendously talented musicians, and they have fun while they play these songs live in the studio.
My Old School is a fun fucking song.
It's a very fun song.
Unreal end of the album highlight. So you're putting Pearl of the Quarter and what else?
And the Boston Rag.
Okay.
I like the Boston Rag.
Bring back.
I like that it has Boston in it.
Boston
I
Rag.
like being affiliated with Boston, despite the fact that it's full of scumduggery. We just finished watching Winning Time, and they give it to Boston so hard in that series,
lay it
and
on
I
thick.
enjoyed it immensely.
It was great.
So having a song with the word Boston in it, it's always been very appealing to me, you know? But I think I like Pearl of the Quarter more than I like Boston Rag.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be the Rag.
You're cutting Boston Rag?
Yeah.
That's what I would have cut.
I know, and I know, and that's maybe a little extra reason why I have done that, because now you got to...
This is really... everything's going real pear-shaped here.
You got to snoop around a little bit. Got to go in there and get your hands dirty.
Okay. So obviously Pearl of the Quarter, just by pure ranking, again, it's the pizza song. It's the compared to everything else, it's the best you ever had. Pearl of the Quarter is on the block. I don't want to do it. Can I tell you something controversial? I never really liked Bodhisattva as much as some of the like more blatant standout Steely Dan favorites. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it's a bad song. It's just one when they really start hitting all those Bodhisattva, like the record skip kind of shit. I do go a little crazy, especially because I've seen too many videos of people training parakeets to dance to this song.
What?
Because they love to pop their little heads.
Too many? How many consists too many?
One is too many. I just kind of wanted to make everyone sweat and think I might cut Bodhisattva.
Mm-hmm.
It's an iconic song, you know? It's the same thing as like Peg in the sense that you don't cut it. You don't cut it. So Pearl of the Quarter's got to go.
I would have respected you a lot more if you cut Bodhisattva.
No shit.
Yeah. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah?
What is the fucking song?
It's pretty frenetic, yeah.
It's frenetic. It's paced really quickly. There's an awesome guitar solo in it. Don't get me wrong. But like, you know, eventually in a whittled down point in Royal Scam, Kid Charlemagne's going to have to go, you know?
Yeah, it's true. In a whittled down theory. Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, I think that like right now in this moment, if someone's like, "Hey, what do you want to listen to? Bodhisattva or Pro of the Quarter?" I would go Pro of the Quarter. And I don't know how many times I would ever say play Bodhisattva.
Yeah.
It comes on, default because it's the first track on the album.
But it sometimes does feel like you're just getting through Bodhisattva.
Yeah, you just got to get through it.
You know?
You just got to.
To get to this treasure trove. Because that album is a treasure trove. There were some more obvious picks on Scam in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Asia was tough. Scam and a little bit of an easier time with Gaucho. This one's tough. But we're both outed as Bodhisattva skeptics.
Yeah. I'm dubious. I find Bodhisattva to be dubious.
Dubious at best. Interesting. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
If you don't know Steely
Hope
Dan.
you had fun. I have one final game for you.
Okay.
You have to take My Old School, which you said is your favorite song,
Okay.
and you have to remove it from Countdown to Ecstasy. What album do you put it on? And what takes its place on this one? Because they'll flip. They'll flip-flop.
You're doing an exchange program.
Yep. You're exchanging. Bloop. We're just plucking My Old School. And we are replacing it with blank. And where blank sat, My Old School will now reside.
Oh, boy. My gut instinct, call me crazy, is Royal Scam.
Mm-hmm.
My gut check says put My Old School on Royal Scam. It along with the 3 first songs on Royal Scam, to me it kind of fits that same kind of aesthetic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. So you replace, let's say, the Fez with My Old School.
Can you
and
imagine?
Now.
You got to plop the Fez into Countdown to Ecstasy, which
Yeah.
sucks for Countdown to Ecstasy.
Sorry, man. You gotta go. It's gotta go somewhere.
But put it like right after Bodhisattva, and everybody can just check in on the 3rd song.
And the Fez kind of has the same feel as Bodhisattva rhythmically.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's very true. That's a good point. So
it slots in on that album as well. You have made a nice selection in many ways.
thank you.
Now, I'm going to go make a playlist, and I'm going to delete the Fez off of Royal Scam, and I'm going to put My Old School there.
You're going to breathe a sigh of relief. So let me ask you, same thing with your top pick, Caves of Altamira. Right? Is your all-timer.
Yeah.
Caves of Altamira, you swap it out on one other album. What do you do?
To me, the beauty of Caves of Altamira and why I love it so much is because it's an early album song. I don't think it would work on like a B-side of an album.
Mm-hmm.
I think it could maybe get lost back there. It could maybe get overlooked.
There might be a little fatigue, by the time you get to that.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say it's their most complicated song they ever did. So I am just taking a quick look here. I'm going to put it on Can't Buy a Thrill.
Interesting.
I think it fits on Can't Buy a Thrill. And I think that it fits, unfortunately. No, I think this will work, actually. I'm going to flip it with Reelin' in the Years.
Wow.
I'm going to lead off side 2 with Caves of Altamira into Fire in the Hole. And on Royal Scam, it's going to go Kid Charlemagne into Reelin' in the Years.
Ooh, okay. That is especially Reelin' in the Years placed into Royal Scam.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky good. Like that pops out to me very vividly. And then like at first when you're like Can't Buy a Thrill, weirdly enough, I did like a mini thought experiment about that. I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if he said that? Because that like would not have occurred to me. And at first I was like, it's like so like bright and horn heavy compared to the little more like dusty, world weary kind of, freshman effort that was Can't Buy a Thrill. Which is not to diminish it in any way. It just definitely had more of a first album quality to it. Whereas something like Caves of Altamira is like way more polished. I'm like, how's that going to work? But as you describe it, you're opening up the second side with it. That's when you've got everybody. You've still got their attention. If you hit that, then there's no more fatigue, no more lag on side B. It can't get lost in the shuffle. Becomes a focal point in the middle of the album.
And the piano on Fire in the Hole after is so jazzy. So you go like jazz to jazz. You go horn feature to piano feature. And again, it kicks it off. You don't listen to something before it. The reason why it works so well on Scam is that Kid Charlemagne is like a fully realized song all by itself.
Yeah.
There's no like real, maybe like carryover. Now you drop Reelin' in the Years in, and there's like even less carryover because it goes right in with that guitar hook and fires right into the song.
Which is kind of true to the spirit of what Royal Scam was doing too, It's interesting.
So yeah.
We're probably the only people right now that are excited about this in any way.
This video is going to get 2 likes, and it's going to be your account and my account.
Jeff, you keep going away. We're just going to keep doing these.
It's just nerd time, man. Let me have my scenarios.
We're flinging ourselves into the volcano of the YouTube algorithm. We don't care who knows it. Well, we're creeping up. We're at about like 54 minutes.
All right.
What do we think can take us home here on Steely Dan? Do you have any more thoughts?
My thoughts on Steely Dan are it's like to me it's I could toss on like any Steely Dan record at any time. I'm always in the mood for Steely Dan. Like at any point in time could easily listen to any of it. The one issue that I had, it's not really an issue, it's just a gripe, I guess. The song FM, which is arguably one of their top 5 smoothest songs they ever did, doesn't exist on a Steely Dan album.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to buy the FM soundtrack, which I did.
Oh, no.
And I think it's the first track on it, so you can just do a one and done. Endeavor.
Yeah.
But I just, I don't know where it would have fit. But maybe think on that. And you out there, you think on that too. And write in the comments where you think FM should have fit.
That's
because you can't.
That's got to go on
Gaucho
or Scam.
Yep.
It has to go on one of those two.
Yep. It's late stage.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's the bummer is that I can't, I guess I could try to find some sort of best of maybe. But I respect the order of the album.
I know.
Despite the fact that we just spent an hour fucking with album order. But yeah.
Respect the album, man. Now, how would you fuck it up?
Yeah, but no. Yeah, how would you fuck it up?
Oh, my God. Yeah, FM, that is truly one of those, like, big-time bummers. It's the same thing as, like, Sweet Freedom by Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
Same situation.
Running
scared.
Yeah, running scared.
Yeah. I don't need the running scared soundtrack, but I sure would like Sweet Freedom.
Yeah.
Drop that into If That's What It Takes. And honestly, cut that song and change the title of the album. Not because I don't like it, but if you got to drop something, drop that
the
one.
one. Bonus drop.
Although I do love How Do I Please You? Okay, never mind. I take that back. You got to keep that. Yeah. We're just going to stuff Sweet Freedom into the album.
It's going in there somewhere. You can't fucking touch. Oh my God! Now why can't I think of it?
I'm getting Michael McDonald up. We're doing a little left turn.
Left turn, Michael McDonald. It's
This is an all-time album for me too.
Oh yeah.
This is an anytime, any place.
What's the name of the last track?
Believe in It.
Yeah, that's it. I love that song too.
It's hard to bet your life.
Holy F. So what we're gonna do after we stop recording is we're gonna listen to FM. And now I think we gotta listen to some Michael McDonald after it.
let me just hit you with this track listing if it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Playing by the Rules kicks us off, followed by I Keep Forgetting, which is one of the smoothest songs of all time.
Yes.
Way too smooth for the 80s. Love Lies. That's a nice... Michael's angry on that one.
Yeah.
To
your face.
I Gotta Try. You don't get rid of I Gotta Try.
Nope. Untouchable.
You do a nice little Pepsi blind taste test challenge with this and Kenny Loggins' version.
Yep.
I honestly prefer this one to Kenny's version, but they're both a delight. Side A closes out with I Can Let Go Now, which I love when the record ends on that.
Mm-hmm.
I can let go now. I'm like, oh, man. But then you flip it. You get That's Why, which maybe I'd cram That's Why.
Mm-hmm.
I might cram Sweet Freedom in there.
Before That's Why?
Not before it.
Oh, after that.
But
okay.
in its place.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Lose an End. Or no, sorry, I went out of order. If That's What It Takes, No Such Luck. No Such Luck. Lose an End. And Believe in It.
Yeah.
So, that's also loaded if you're into this kind of thing. If you're into dad rock.
Well,
fucking Philistines.
I'm going to sneak one quick counter in with you.
Oh, okay.
This album came out in 1981. It won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year, beating out Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Oh, my God.
It is the self-titled debut album by Christopher Cross.
Oh, my God, dude. I totally forgot about that.
Say You'll Be Mine. I Really Don't Know Anymore. Spinning. Never Be the Same. Poor Shirley. Ride Like the Wind. The Light Is On.
Oh, boy.
Sailing. Minstrel Gigolo.
I maybe get rid of Minstrel Gigolo and you got to read them to me again. I'm spacing.
Say You'll Be Mine. I Really Don't Know Anymore. Spinning.
Maybe Spinning.
Yeah, I'm thinking potentially Spinning.
I think Spinning or Minstrel Gigolo go.
You can't touch Light Is On.
You can't. And I Really Don't Know Anymore. You can't cut that. The
No.
Michael McDonald backing vocals in that.
No way.
I really don't know.
Ride Like the Wind. Wrote it while he was on acid on a flight.
Sounds fucking absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they used the phrase "charm the snake," and I just you gotta charm that snake. So I got Christopher Cross back on the brain again, and then we went into Good Measure to get some takeout.
Ah, yes.
On Sunday, and some Christopher Cross was playing.
Yeah, it was all right.
All right,
Which is another great one.
great song. Yeah, Christopher Cross.
I think I would love maybe this is the yacht rock episode. I don't know. Maybe
No.
we just
This right what we're doing right here right now is the Marvel tease at the end. We're gonna come back. The next episode that you and I do, whenever it happens, is going to be the all-encompassing yacht rock episode. Because he can't do yacht rock without the Kenny Logginses.
Ah, true.
We can't talk about no Toto.
The controversial inclusion of Human Nature, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have
Think about it.
We're gonna have a lot to chew on the boat. So yeah, this was but a tease.
This is like the dip
yacht rock initiative.
Because this is kind of how we got into yacht rock too. So we are initiating folks kind of in the same way with a Steely Dan deep dive and album mukbang.
Yes, you know this. I would love if when we do the yacht rock one, we could do video.
Mm-hmm.
Have a little set. Have that cruise ship background from Zach's birthday. Put on our captain's hats.
Sail away.
Get some fine drinks with coconut
Yeah,
shell.
no coconut for me. I'll just put like fruit in mine.
You want to drink yours out of a coconut husk?
Is it gonna taste like coconut?
Probably.
Fuck that then.
If I got you a glass shaped like a coconut.
I was gonna say I'll drink out like a plastic coconut husk,
Okay.
or we could just put a cup in the husk, and I'll drink it out of the cup that's in the husk, so I can still hold the husk and be like, I hold the husk.
Okay, it's like when we were watching Wet Hot American Summer first day of camp. When it first came out, we all gathered and watched it. I put my drink cup inside of a can of mixed vegetables that had the lid on.
Yes.
Cut my lip up more than once, forgetting that I had it
Sail
down.
be mine.
There'll be no such luck. Well, I think it's time to bring this one home.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to the listening audience before we power out?
I'd just like to say, thanks for having me on the show. I hope people like the discussions that we have. I hope that we don't just come off as two, blowhards or whatever. And yeah, that was my self-introspection for the end of the show. Thanks for having me on. Per usual, a great time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We love this. Jeff, you can quit the couch store, do whatever you want.
You're done.
Tanner and I got this covered. We're just going to do this every week. No, it's always great to come on and do these. These are so much fun. So thank you very much for sitting in and geeking out. I don't care if we sound like blowhards. I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.